Hello again. I'm going to do a quick video here on mobility and strength, some of my thoughts about that as far as things you can do to actually get a little bit more stability as you try to throw a kick, developing some joint stability, and then the flexibility or mobility that comes with that. So hopefully you find this a little bit useful. So I've ranted before about, let me adjust this, about making sure that you don't just go cranking on a joint or go stretching the bejesus out of something because you think you need to be more flexible. In my mind, and this is based on my understanding of muscle physiology and neuroscience and a bunch of stuff that you guys probably don't care about, based on my little understanding of that, it seems to me that strength and proper control of a muscle really is what's going to allow you to execute a lot of these movements with more mobility, with more range or height or whatever you want, while at the same time being less prone to injury, being more stable. When your body is stable, it'll give you more mobility. So in that vein, I don't do a lot of stretching. I don't, prop my leg up and stretch, crank on my hamstrings or whatever it is, and I see that a lot. As one of the black belts in my class, I walk in and, if you're relatively skilled, I don't claim to be great or gifted, but if you're kind of skilled, people that aren't as skilled look at you and think, oh wow, that person's really flexible. Lots of times the first thing they do is they drop to the floor and start doing hamstring stretches. And every time I ask these people, new students in the class, well, stand up and can you even hold your leg out? And most of them can't. Most of them they can't even get their leg to parallel to the floor, right? And I'm thinking, well, if you don't have the strength to hold your leg out there, what business do you have putting it way up there, right? Way up in the air. And normally they start to see that, yeah, I guess that kind of makes sense, right? And so that's what we go for is strength. I figure, and I've seen this time and time again, if you develop enough strength to get your leg or get whatever limb up into a position with stability, you get the flexibility on your own. The stuff that feels tight will relax on its own. So let's talk about a front kick. If I'm bringing my leg up to do a front kick, right, it just comes pretty much straight up, and I'm going to throw that kick out towards the camera here. Boom. Again, my knee comes up, and boom. You've seen this before in my previous videos and probably a million other places on the internet. Well, I don't need to worry so much about swinging my leg super high. That's all well and good. It looks pretty and fancy. What I'm concerned about when I'm teaching somebody or training somebody is, can they hold this leg there? Can they own that position? So can I kick this leg out and hold it here? Right? So for me, that's getting close to the highest I can hold it for a really long time. So even I probably don't have a much business kicking way up towards the ceiling. Right? This is a safe position for me because I can hold it. So when you're worrying about getting your kick height up there, just work on positions where you can hold your leg. And once you get comfortable, I'll show you from the side, once you get comfortable picking your knee up to a certain position, maybe you can work on some more strength there. Maybe take this hand and push gently, 10% effort into that knee and still hold the knee up. So you're developing even more strength in the hip flexors and the accompanying musculature. You're teaching your body to handle that position with more ownership and more stability. And then if you want more challenge, then you can take this leg, and I'll see if I can do it. Hopefully I do a decent job. Keep the same angle of the hip, and then just straighten this knee out. Right? And you'll find that it gets pretty hard and your leg wants to drop back down. That's fine. So if your strongest position or your highest strong position is only here, fine. Make that rock solid. See if you can hold that. Push down on that, right? If that's stable. And then you do the same thing with all these other kicks. So for the side kick or the roundhouse kick, right, I can come off here. I can hold the wall. This is fine. Working on balance later. Balance is a complicated thing that I'm not even going to get into right now. If you're just trying to get strong, work on just that, right? So hold this out here. If you can get your leg horizontal, if it's down here, that's fine. And just kick that leg out. See if you can hold it. Right? And focus on what's going on in here. See if anything feels funky, and if you start leaning over and you can stand back up or sit back up straight, try to do that. You're probably going to find a lot of muscles in your side and your back and your core, in the hips. A lot of stuff that you're not used to feeling or you're not used to making sore is going to start feeling kind of sore. That's okay. You're developing musculature you don't use very often. So, if martial arts didn't have some challenges to it, everybody would do it, everybody would be awesome at it. Obviously, that's not the case. So take your time and just work your way through each position. When you're more experienced, then you can start maybe taking the hands off the wall, and you can worry about some strengthening with a less stability in there, maybe a balance component, so to speak, where I can do this and then just slowly throw my leg out for a side kick or whatever it is I'm trying to do, right? And that can be challenging even for the best of us. So think about that in terms of just basic stability. I use a phrase called visiting the position. I'm borrowing that from some people that mentored me and who are much, much wiser and smarter than I am. But I love that term. If you want to be fairly mobile, you don't necessarily have to stretch for an hour a day. In fact, I recommend against that. I think you shouldn't do that. But just kind of bring your body there gently. If you've studied anything about exercise, they talk about dynamic warm-ups. Well, this is kind of like that. Just bring your body, bring your limbs. In this case, it's mostly legs and hip stuff going on. Just go to these positions and, like I said, just visit it. Every day, just for a few seconds, and that can be enough to keep 95% of your mobility. I don't spend a ton of time on my off days when I'm not training really hard. I don't spend a lot of time on flexibility, but I seem to be able to maintain it really well just by every once in a while throwing my kicks really gently. I'm not throwing them real hard, just going to that position, asking my body to let me go there, kind of reminding it that you still want to be able to go to those positions. And just be gentle with it, work with your body, don't work against it, don't try to force it to do something it's not ready to do, and just work your way up that way. So this is just a basic philosophy and idea kind of video on things to do when you're trying to go for mobility. Like I said, I'm not big on passive stretching or static stretching, where you hold something up. I can prop my leg up, say on the back of this chair right here, and grab my heel or grab my leg and crank myself forward. There's a whole lot of different stuff I may or may not be stretching, and this is not the best way, in my opinion, to go about developing mobility. However, if my leg can go higher than this, I can prop my leg up on this and then just lift my leg up. That is a challenge, and that might be something we want to do later. But I'll talk more about that later. So hopefully you got something out of this video. So I'm going to cut it off now, and just let me know any comments, observations. You liked it, you didn't like it, suggestions for a future video, feedback of any kind. Let me know, and thanks for watching.